Relationships or talks. This leads to another approach. In the individualist, direct cultures, we need to talk through the issues, like the Peacemaker's Course presents. But is that always feasible and possible, especially with the indirect cultures? We've talked about that. My good colleague, who spent 5 years in Southern Africa and now serves in Central Asia, he says, conflict resolution in parts of Asia is often done without actually talking about the issues. It's a matter of eating a meal together or exchanging gifts, signaling that the conflict is over. We won't let this thing fester. So here's the question. Is it necessary to talk about the issue in order to get over the issue and be able to move on? A very close colleague of mine told me about a painful conflict he had with a believer from an honor-shame culture. They had enjoyed a close discipling relationship for many years. Now that person held a deep grudge against my colleague for something the colleague had done inadvertently, and so he refused to talk with my colleague for a long period. Eventually, the offended person invited my colleague for a meal and offered a small financial gift to him. This fellow shared with the colleague that he had made some stupid mistakes in the past. In other words, let bygones be bygones without having to actually name the actual issue. This reminds me of the conflict between Jacob and Esau in Genesis. The two brothers had had a terrible conflict which lasted for years. Jacob had cheated Esau of his inheritance, which to this day is a source of many family feuds. Esau was ready to kill Jacob, so Jacob fled to his uncle's farm hundreds of kilometers away. And there he married and farmed with Uncle Laban for 14 years. Now Jacob wanted to return to his home. But on his way, he learned that Esau was coming with 400 men. Jacob feared for his life. So what did he do? He sent a massive gift ahead to Esau. Goats and sheep, camels, cows, donkeys, hundreds of them, an entire ranch. Was this Jacob's apology? Was this his confession? Or was it just a bribe? We read that when they saw each other, Jacob bowed down to the ground 7 times as he approached his brother. But Esau ran to meet Jacob and embraced him. He threw his arms around his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Now, certainly, the culture back then was vastly different from our modern individualist black and white ways. But can we say that gifts and hospitality are ways of expressing the desire to restore relationships and to let bygones be bygones? It's another way of saying, I'm sorry, we messed up. Let's move on and be friends and brothers again. So restitution is not by paying back the offense, but rather by doing good to the offended through a meal or a gift. You cover up the offense. You make up for it. It's interesting that this is one of the 2 original meanings of the word atonement in Hebrew, kippur, to pay or to cover. To be true, gifts can be very manipulative as well and can place the recipient in a terrible predicament. Indeed, there is really no such thing as a pure gift without strings attached. Let's go to the next activity, gifts and food or talk.